Are left-wing teachers teaching kids inappropriate and even sexualized material in order to promote gender ideology? Well, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So in Backlash to the Don't Say Gay bill, aka the anti-groomer bill, left-wing ideologues who promote trans ideology and gender ideology have been saying that no teacher is promoting sexual and even gender ideological content to kids. But thankfully, the Libs of TikTok Twitter account has done great work in exposing what these teachers are promoting to young kids. And the fact that they're so unapologetic about promoting this stuff just shows how far they've gone down the left-wing echo chamber, that they think this stuff is normalised when it really shouldn't be. So I thought it would be fun to react to some.
The most controversial way I teach my kids consent is that they all choose their own gender identity, because it's every person's right to be who they are. It's that simple.
Teaching kids about gender identity is just going to confuse them. There are people in society who experience gender dysphoria and do wish to seek out surgery as a way of helping that. However, we shouldn't be promoting this lifestyle to kids in the same way that cosmetic surgery, like nose jobs, shouldn't be promoted to kids. And also, children cannot consent, they're not mature enough to make informed consent. By promoting the idea that they can consent leads to the idea that kids can consent to sex reassignment surgery, which they can't. As a child, you cannot properly consent and understand the effects of sex reassignment surgery, or even things like going on hormone blockers, because they can lead to risk of other illnesses and even lead to things like infertility. When you're a kid or even a young teenager, you cannot properly understand the effects these treatments would cause. Most kids can't decide what outfit they're going to wear the next day, never mind if they want kids in the future. And I don't get how this has anything to do with consent. It's just a way to throw nice words out there. And it just seems like another way of isolating parents away from kids.
My name's Az and I'm a preschool teacher. So my classroom celebrates diversity. It's probably my favorite thing to teach. We usually use kids' books to talk about this kind of thing. Recently we started wearing pronoun pins, and the kids get to pick a new pronoun pin every day. We have some that pick like she, her every single day, and we have some that change it up. So diversity is really important in my class. So I recently realized that there's a whole lot of really amazing figureheads and people to look up to in this world who aren't white or straight or male or have what have you, and that we should learn a little bit more about these people.
Again, the insistent focus on gender identity isn't healthy. I thought the early feminist belief was that your gender doesn't define you. Apparently nowadays it's your gender that's the only thing that defines you. Giving pronoun pins to kids, while it sounds harmless, it just later confuses them. Gender shouldn't be something you can pick and choose because this has real world implications. Look at women's only spaces, look at women's sports. That's the effect of diluting the definition of gender. And being a woman shouldn't be anything more than being an adult human female. And also, we shouldn't be promoting and celebrating people because of their identity. We should be promoting and celebrating people because of their achievements. It's crazy how these things are being so naturally promoted in education, even within the UK. I remember in a PSHE lesson, the first thing the teacher said was Happy World Pronouns Day. And the thing is, these people don't understand the implications of it. They just think it's harmless, when in reality it does have societal impacts. Whether that be confusing kids, encouraging them to go down unnecessary surgery, or just threatening women's only spaces. And I think it's so important that we have legislation to make sure there's safeguards in the UK. This next video isn't necessarily to do with classroom teaching, it's just an interesting video on how these people think.
We want people to put in the emotional effort to see us as we actually are. Because what you've described is a situation where somebody is memorizing pronouns rather than actually trying to see the person in a new light with the new information. I don't want you to see me as a woman and then remember to use he, him pronouns. I want you to see me as a dude, you know? And when it's a situation like I described in this last video, I see it as you seeing them as a cis person and just taking the any pronouns as a cop-out to any of the emotional work. The point is empathy and human.
I think this video just perfectly exemplifies how gender ideology cannot work practically in the real world. The human brain can just naturally pick up whether someone is male or female subconsciously. We do it without even knowing. And 99% of the time, it's spot on. even if you do describe yourself as non-binary or whatever. And the thing is, when you have no concrete definition of what that gender is, what a woman is, for example, how are you meant to look at someone or see someone and know they're that gender? So yes, you'd have to create a list in your head and remember it. And the sad thing is that these views are accepted by a big proportion of society now because they don't realise the actual implications of it. They just think it's about empathy and respect. You can have empathy and respect to people who are struggling with gender dysphoria, or people who get bullied and hurt because they don't conform to gender stereotypes. But that doesn't mean you have to uncritically accept this gender ideology. Thank you for watching. I'm Jess Gill. This is Reasoned. Goodbye.